Good morning, students. Last time we have cleared our topic data structures and we studied different operations over stack. Now, today we are going to start our new unit, which is database management. It is the third unit according to our syllabus. In database management, we have to study different terms. What is database? What is a relation? What is a tuple? What is an attribute? All these terms today we will study. First of all, what is a database? Why do we need a database? A database may be defined as a collection of interrelated data which is stored together for the use of various applications. It means a database consists of some data which is related with each other, okay, and it is used for various applications very freely. Actually, it contains information of a particular enterprise or an organization, such as record of student, telephone directory, etc. Normally, database is developed for a particular organization or an enterprise, which contains, for example, such as record of student. For example, organization is a school, so school have to maintain record of students in a database. Or telephone directory is the best example of database, in which all the users of a particular company, such as BSNL, of a city, in which all the users and their record, their address, their contact number will be maintained in a directory. It is a best example of database. Now, database is a new term. Previously, database is not used. All the data is handled with the help of files. So, what does file handling means? Previously, typical file processing system are used, such as our file handling system, in which data are stored permanently. Before database evolved, previously there is a file processing system in which all the data is handled with the help of file handling system, in which data are stored permanently. If a user wants to manipulate data, then the user has to write a program to manipulate it, which is very difficult. Now, if you are handling data with the help of files, and if you want to change means update, insert or delete, is called manipulation. If you want to manipulate data, it is very difficult for the user to change the data in the files. So the file handling system has some limitations, which are as follows. Because to change the data in file handling is difficult, you have to write some programs, and with the help of program you are able to change the data. So for each and every manipulation, a user have to write program in programming language, which is not easy for a normal user who don't know what is a programming. So file handling is little bit difficult task to handle data. Now, some limitations regarding file handling are: first one is data redundancy. Redundancy means duplication of data. Duplication of data means the same type of data will be present in one or more than one files. So it will be difficult if one data is changed in a file, and the same data will have to be changed to make the integrity of the data. So data redundancy is the main problem in file handling. Data inconsistency. Data inconsistency means data has to follow some rules and regulations. Okay, for example, suppose class 8, the first installation let is rupees 8,000. This is the rule, and if this rule is not followed, so there is a problem for the database or for the organization to maintain it. So this is called inconsistency. Unshareable data. The data between two files is not being able to share. Okay, if you want to share the data from the first file to the second file, it is not possible in file handling. Unstandardized data. Unstandardized means there are no rules and regulations to write the data, okay, to maintain relationship between among data. Insecure data. File handling is little bit insecure as compared to database system. Incorrect data. There is a possibility of data to be incorrect, because if you update the data in one file and you forget to update the same data in another file, that is it will be incorrect. So the integrity will not be possible in file handling. Now, a database management system is answer to all these problems. So to overcome all these problems, a database management system has evolved which will solve all these problems. It provides centralized control of the data. Centralized control means all the data resides over a single position, over a single location, on the same machine, on a single machine. So all the data is located on a single machine, so it is possible to handle the data very easily. That's why it is called centralized control. Various advantages of database system are as follows. Now, as compared to file handling, some advantages of database over file handling are as follows. Let us see. Database system reduce data redundancy, which is data duplications, to a large extent. While handling database, the duplicacy of data is totally removed. It means no duplicate data will exist in a database system. Only atomic data is available. Database systems control data inconsistency to a large extent. Data inconsistency means the rules and regulations which are followed is very much strictly followed while making a database. Okay, database facilitate sharing of data. Actually, in database, data is handled with the help of tables. So the sharing of data between two tables is possible. You can share the data between the two tables. Database enforce standards. It means standards means some set of rules, or we can say constraints. So database enforce set of rules over the data. Centralized database can ensure data security. Centralized database means data is stored at a single location. All the data is stored on a single machine. So the security can be the best feature of database. No unauthorized user can access our data, and our data is secure. Integrity can be maintained through databases. Integrity means all set of rules, all set of constraints, consistency should be followed. Okay, so our data is correct and it is not incorrect. So these are all the advantages of database system over file handling system. That's why nowadays database management system is preferred over file handling system. File handling system is same as we are using in Python file handling. It is a file handling system through which data can be handled. Now in our syllabus there are various models regarding database system, but in our syllabus there is relational data model. Other models are network model, hierarchy model, okay, hybrid model. These are various data models, but in our syllabus there is relational data model. So we have to study relational data model, because nowadays relational data model is the best model which is used to handle data in the form of tables. In relational data model, the data is organized into tables. So the main feature of the relational data model is that the data is handled with the help of tables, that is rows and columns. These tables are called relations. So a table is also called a relation in a relational data model. So whenever we say relation or we can say table, both these terms are similar in relational data model. A row in a table represent a relationship among a set of values. A row means a complete set of record in which all the values are related with each other. So a single row, if we take a single row of a table, so all the values of that row are related with each other. It will show data of a single entity. Means, for example, suppose we take table student. It contains column name, roll number and class. Name is Shailendra, roll number is 101, class is 12th. So Shailendra 12th roll number 101 are related with each other because it is a record of a single entity. An entity is student. Okay. Now, different terms used in relational models. There are various terms used in relational models, so go through it very carefully. It is very important for you to understand the basics of database. First one is a relation. What is a relation? A table which stores logically related data must be atomic in a cell. All row must be distinct. Ordering of row and column is immaterial. It means a table which stores data and all the values of the data must be atomic. Atomic means indivisible, single value. Okay, in a cell means for each column there is atomic value. It will not be divisible. For example, column name will be indivisible. Shailendra. No two student name will be in the same column. Shailendra comma Rohan. No two values will be in the same cell. So that's why it is called atomic value. Atomic value means single values in a cell. All row must be distinct. Each and every row of a table must be different from each other. That's why it is called distinct. Distinct means there will be no duplicacy, there will be no redundancy, and ordering of row and column is immaterial. The order of the column will not be strictly followed. You can make any column in the first position, in the second position. This is not the case to arrange them according to your. You can arrange at your own. And row also is not matter. It doesn't matter. Ordering of rows and column is you can arrange row and column in any order, in any manner. It doesn't matter to the database. But all the rows and columns are different. It is important. Now, domain. Domain means the area. These are the set of values from which the actual values appearing in a given column are drawn. It means for a particular column, what kind of values the column should stored column will have. It is called a domain. Okay. Suppose for example I will take an example of a table. Let us see. Here there are two tables. First one is supplier, in which supplier number, supplier name, status, city are 4 columns. Supplier number is the primary key over here. This column is the primary key over here. It has different values. Okay. Now this column is also used in another table, shipment. Here supplier number. So the supplier number values of shipment table will have all those values which are present in this supplier. So the domain means the set of value of this supplier number column will be all those values which are derived from this table. So okay, let us see here. It does not contain that value which is not in supplier table. So that's why the domain of the supplier number is the set of all those values which are present in the supplier table column supplier number. This is called domain. Okay, because these two tables are related with each other. Now tuple. A row of a relation is generally referred as a tuple. Tuple is generally called a row. Okay. We can say a row, a tuple. These are same terminology. So in a table, the row of a relation is generally referred as a tuple. Attribute. A column of a relation is generally referred to as an attribute. Attributes, the column of a table are also called attributes. Okay. So a column, a field, a attribute, all these are same things. Attributes are also called fields. Degree and cardinality. These are very important terms. They are asked in your examinations. What is the degree of this relation? What is the cardinality of this relation? So first of all, what is degree? It is the total number of attribute in a relation or in a table. So the degree of this table, suppose the degree of this table is 1, 2, 3, 4. The total number of attributes in a relation is called the degree. So the degree of supplier is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 attributes, so degree is 4. Now cardinality. cardinality is the total number of rows in a relation. It will give the number of rows. So the total number of rows here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the total number of rows in supplier table is 5. So the cardinality is 5. Avoid the column name. Okay, don't count it. The column name is not the rows. The rows is the record. Okay, so count only the number of records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the another important term, primary key. Primary key is the set of one or more attribute that uniquely identify a tuple within the relation. Means it will be a single set of attribute or a set of multiple attributes through which you can uniquely identify a tuple. Tuple means a row or a record in a relation. Let us see with the help of example. Suppose in this table supplier, the supplier number column has distinct values, S1, S2, S3, S4. All these values are distinct, different values. Okay, so with the help of this S1 you are able to identify this record. If you type display the record of supplier whose supplier number is S1, so it will display the first record, S1 Britannia 10 and Delhi. Okay, it means through supplier number S1 you are uniquely identify a tuple. Tuple means a row in a relation. So that's why it is called a primary key. Primary key is a set of key through which you can uniquely identify the tuples in a relation. Through S1 this tuple you can identify, through S2 this tuple you can identify, through S3 this tuple you can identify. So that's why this column supplier number we have set a primary key. A primary key can be a single attribute or the set of attributes, means more than one attributes. Okay, but in our table prefer to make only single attribute as a primary key. It is better for our design. Now candidate key. Candidate key means all the attributes combinations inside a relation that can serve as a primary key are candidate key. It means the primary key is made from the candidate key, because candidate key works similar as the primary key. Candidate key is the superset of primary key, you can say. It means candidate key contains all those possible combinations of attributes through which you can uniquely identify a tuple in a relations. Okay, so you have to choose one set and make it as a primary key which is best suited for your design purpose. So candidate key means the set of all attributes or the combinations through which you can uniquely identify a tuple in a relations. Okay, here what is written, all attributes combinations inside a relation that can serve as a primary key are candidate key, as these are candidates for the primary key positions. So candidate key contain all those sets, and through those sets you have to choose one primary key. So you can say primary key is a type of candidate key. Candidate key is the superset for primary key, and from candidate key sets you have to choose one primary key. Okay, now alternate key. Alternate key are those keys which are not primary key. Alternate are those candidate key which are not primary key. It means suppose a candidate key contains three different sets of primary key, and one of them you make primary key. Rest of two of them are called alternate key because they are not primary key. So alternate key is a candidate key that is not a primary key, is called an alternate key. Okay, alternate key which is not a primary key is called, a candidate key which is not a primary key is called an alternate key. Another important term is foreign key. Foreign key is a non-key attribute whose values are derived from the primary key of some other table is known as foreign key in the current table. It means it is derived from some other table, and it is a non-key attribute whose values are derived from the other table. Look at here with the help of example. From this table supplier number is a primary key. This supplier number is also used in another table, supplier number. So all these values, it is a non-key attribute. All these values are derived from this table. So here supplier number is a foreign key because all the values are derived from the primary key column of another table, and in the current table, this is called a foreign key. It does not contain that value which is not present here. Okay, if you write S6 over here, it is not possible to write it here because it is a foreign key. It's all these values I derive from these values. So this is called foreign key. So that's all for today. Go through this carefully, read all the terms, terminologies, understand it. What is file handling? What are the advantages of database over file handling? Go through it very carefully, and in the next time we will study some more concept about database. Till then, goodbye.